Okay, let's dive into this. On the surface, the story we're unpacking today sounds exactly like an episode of reality TV. Honestly, it's a dispute over a photograph. One world leader allegedly wanted a picture and another obliged out of pity. End of story, right? Well, not quite. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking how a laughably trivial spat over a G7 snapshot actually reveals massive, fundamental shifts in global statecraft and the transatlantic alliance.
Neither I nor Italy ever beg. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the icy, remarkable force with which Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni responded to Donald Trump. Trump had claimed that during the Evian G7 summit, Meloni practically pleaded for a photograph with him, and that he agreed simply because, well, he felt sorry for her. Now, a lot of people immediately dismiss this as just colorful storytelling, but Meloni's sharp, unyielding rebuttal, that sets the stage for our entire analysis today.
Which brings us to the central mystery we're looking at. Can a dispute over a photograph actually fracture an international alliance? Like, why does a surface spectacle matter so much? Because in the realm of international politics, photographs are rarely just about photographs. As we'll uncover, they are really about power, perception, and high-stakes status. Because if you diminish the leader, you risk appearing to diminish the nation itself.
Section 1. The Clash of Brands. Think of this like two completely different operating systems colliding. On one side, we have Trump's approach, performative transactionalism and personal conquests. To his domestic audience, international relations aren't about boring treaties or defense pacts. They're personal conquests. It's a narrative of dominance. Who called first? Who begged? Who controlled the room? It's a domestic kill shot meant to elevate his own status. Then, on the flip side, we have Meloni. Institutional statecraft and Roman pride. Italian political culture places enormous emphasis on national dignity, and her entire brand relies on projecting unyielding strength. These two styles were absolutely bound to clash. Because of this brand identity, Meloni had absolutely no choice but to strike back. Consider her political paradox right now. First, she's trying to be the transatlantic bridge. She was the lone EU head of state to attend Trump's second inauguration, right? She's actively positioning herself as the vital link between Washington and Brussels. But second, she is a fierce defender of national sovereignty. You simply cannot brand yourself as the ultimate defender of Roman pride and then allow another leader to publicly claim you were groveling. Remaining silent would have been politically toxic. It would suggest Italy itself was pleading for American attention.
So, the crucial point is exactly how she responded. She didn't just deny the rumor. Listen to this quote. "I can only say it is a shame he doesn't show the same resolve toward the enemies of the West." Boom. That was a masterfully executed counterstrike. She completely flipped the script. She dismantled that strongman persona by highlighting his historical indulgence toward actual adversaries, directly contrasting it with his bizarre bullying of traditional allies. Section 2. Diplomacy as reality television. So how did statecraft turn into a reality show tournament? Well, because modern media actively rewards it. Think about the attention economy. A 3,000-word trade agreement, that gets almost zero traction. Policy is incredibly complicated. Energy security demands hours of explanation, and defense spending involves massive, boring spreadsheets. But a 30-second clip of two world leaders trading insults, that accumulates millions of views before lunchtime. Social media algorithms absolutely feast on interpersonal dominance. Television producers adore it. And when political incentives reward spectacle, the economics of attention naturally drive governments to just produce more of it. Now, to be totally fair here, diplomatic theater isn't entirely new. History has always contained moments of remarkable triviality. At the Congress of Vienna, they had endless disputes over ceremonial precedence. During the Versailles negotiations, leaders argued bitterly over seating plans. And throughout the Cold War, diplomatic optics frequently generated headlines that obscured the far more consequential reality happening behind the scenes. Human nature really hasn't changed. But you know what has changed? The speed. Today, every microphone is live, every camera is rolling, and social media transforms a single offhand remark into a global incident in minutes. Section 3. The Bedrock. Hidden Fractures. I want you to remember this punchy, enduring truth from Lord Palmerston. Countries possess interests, not friendships. Just a short time ago, a lot of commentators assumed Trump and Meloni would be permanent, ideological soulmates because they both favor national sovereignty and criticize excessive bureaucracy. But Italy has no eternal ideological soulmate. They only have changing national interests. When geopolitical circumstances evolve and interests diverge, personal chemistry deteriorates remarkably quickly. So, what are the actual fractures causing all this friction? We can break it down into three clear policy divides. Number one, the war in Iran. Meloni has openly criticized U.S.-led military actions there as illegal, a stance that really drew Washington's ire earlier this year. Number two, Ukraine support. Rome fiercely backs Kyiv, completely contradicting the isolationist skepticism coming out of the U.S. right now. And number three, trade tariffs. Impending U.S. trade policies directly threaten the Italian economy. These are genuine, structural, geopolitical divergences. They are the real reasons a supposedly warm relationship turned incredibly sour.
And this brings us to a key concept in statecraft, the institutional signal. When Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani abruptly canceled his scheduled trip to Washington amidst all this drama, it was not a temper tantrum. It was a calculated diplomatic action. It was Rome sending an institutional signal that Europe is growing increasingly weary of being treated as a mere stage prop for Washington's domestic political theater. It's a stark reminder that in a purely transactional world, alliances aren't built on respect. They're measured by who holds the camera.
Section 4. When optics become power.
Whenever a leader speaks, you always have to ask, who are they actually talking to? There are always dual audiences. Foreign governments are hearing a diplomatic rebuttal, sure, but far more importantly, domestic voters are hearing a defense of national honor. One should never assume politicians are speaking only to foreign leaders. Very often, the international audience is entirely secondary. Leaders are judged by the narratives they create and the images they project for the voters back home. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. The camera has become almost as powerful as the cabinet. A massive summit convened to discuss war, economic uncertainty, and the very future of the Western alliance became totally overshadowed by an argument over who asked whom for a photograph. In the age of permanent media scrutiny, are appearances simply a reflection of power, or are they power itself? Thanks for diving into this explainer with me, and keep questioning the true nature of modern statecraft.